Janie's got a gun. Janie's got a gun. Well, in this case, I guess it's Timmy. Timmy's got a gun. I know we saw him out there with that extension rod for the paint road. I know we saw him out there with the getting excited about the. All right, we should have known this was going to come, right? We know that he's been jealous of Megan for years because Megan was the only one that had the ability to carry a firearm around that farm. And I guess he felt a little bit emasculated, considering that Megan had to be the enforcer of the farm. Is that right? And all he could do was carry that knife, carry that blade, that hunting knife on his hip in full display. But I guess now Timmy's got a gun. We saw him getting excited talking about that alligator, showing us those flashback videos. And he was talking about, well, you know, we dispatched that previous alligator, a previous 4-foot long alligator. We dispatched it with a pop. We dispatched it with a pop. We dispatched it with a pop. Right. And we noticed his level of excitement and showing us that. And so we should have known that something was coming. Yes. Considering that these videos are 4 to 5 weeks old, 4 to 5 weeks behind, we should have known that something was coming. But I guess here it is now. Timmy's got a gun. Timmy's got a gun. The dog days have begun. Well, actually, for them, it probably would be the dark days. The dark days have begun. Megan, run for cover, Megan. Because I'm guessing just like he was trying to prematurely get those boys out there riding that heavy equipment, trying to get Titus out there on that bad boy tractor when he's clearly underage, when he's clearly immature, when he clearly has mid-level control over his extremities, mid-level control over his dexterity. And so he's trying to force him, when he was forcing these boys to become men prematurely, we should have known it was coming. When he forced Tim Jr. to drive that side by side prematurely, when he's been forcing these boys into this supposed adulthood. Okay, when he gave these boys these box blades prematurely, at least a decade too early. We should have known something like this was coming. And so I would say for IAG Farms, the dark days have begun. Because Timmy's got a gun. Yes, I'm going to make a bold prediction. IAG's on the run. Bold prediction, yes. Bold prediction. Because Timmy's got a gun. So what else? What else has my coach been up to? I really don't even want to talk about. I don't really want to talk about. Do I have to even speak on it? I don't really want to speak on it. But he's talking about he's been waiting to get his Second Amendment rights again. Is that right? And so from what I understand, as a human being, he did have that right to bear arms. He did have that right, but he squandered it. Yes. And so he had the right to bear arms for his own protection, for protection of his own property. Yes. So he had that right when he was a teenager. And for what I understand, he went ahead and he squandered that right. Is that right? He was wasteful with that right. Is that right? He abused that right when he decided to bear arms in order to take property from other folks. Is that right? Okay, so he had the right to protect his own property and himself. He chose to abuse that right in order to take other people's property. Is that right? Is that right? And of course, to threaten other people's livelihoods and other people's ability to breathe. Is that right? And so he wasted that right. He abused it. Is that right? He was convicted. Yes. He was sentenced. Yes. He served time, a commuted sentence in prison. Is that right? But he did have that right. Is that right? So it wasn't something that was taken away from him frivolously. Okay. It was not something that was snatched from him unwarrantedly. Yes. Okay. There was no misuse. There was no strong arm of the law saying, it wasn't taken from him discriminately. Is that right? So he had every right to bear arms. He chose to use his right for destruction and for robbery. Is that right? Okay, so now he's talking about, well, now I have my Second Amendment right has been restored after 20 years. Now, we do understand that he was freed from prison when he was about 24. Yes. And we do understand that he's around 36 now. Okay, so how would that be 20 years later? How would that be 20 years later? I'm not sure about the math. We'll have to look forward to the videos to see how Tim works through the math on this one. But if he was released, if he was convicted at 17, if he's almost 36, that still would not be 20 years. Okay, he got out of prison when he was 24. Certainly that's only about 11 or 12 years. And so where is this 20-year figure? Where's it coming from? Okay, so is this an exaggeration in order to draw some type of sympathy from his heavy followers? I do understand that at least one of his followers went into the comments and talking about, well, certainly he committed heinous crimes. Certainly he committed violent crimes in the past. Yes, certainly he's displayed violence with strangers. He's even displayed violence with his own mama when he was kicking down her door in order to get money to buy drugs. Certainly he's displayed violence when he was busting out the window of the mobile home that was on the Legacy property. And certainly he's displayed violence. He's displayed anger. Okay, when he's been out here in some of these videos, when he's been venting in some of these videos, not only has he displayed insecurity, he's displayed anger. Yes. Okay, so he's displayed it. Okay, and so for him to somehow have his rights restored to them, we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. Okay, because Timmy definitely, Timmy's got a gun. All right, so we'll look forward to that. But what else? Has he been up to anything else? Anything else? Nothing really. Is that right? He's just proud of going out there and purchasing a gun. Now, when I first saw the thumbnail, of course, I assumed that the gun was purchased in Megan's name. I assumed that was the case. I assumed that he was just in there actually putting the gun, putting the rifle, putting the sight together. That was my initial assumption. I'm not sure why he has a sight on it. Okay, all right, I'm not sure what he needs that for. Is he going to go out and do some hunting? Is he going to be hunting some raccoon? Is he going to be hunting some of the possum? Is he going to be hunting the snake? Is that right? He wants to be able to kill the snake from a distance. Is he going to be hunting that little baby alligator, that little 2-foot long gator that's in the pond that's not bothering anyone? Is he going to be hunting the gator from about 40 yards away? Is that why he needs a sight? But of course, when I first saw the thumbnail and I saw the excitement, I assumed that he was being deceptive as usual. So I assumed that the gun was actually purchased in Megan's name, and that he was just simply assembling the rifle or assembling the sight. So that was my assumption initially. I guess he has some footage in him of being in the store, and I don't know if he's picking out the rifle or if Megan picked out the rifle and he's doing the dialogue. Maybe the gentleman, the salesman, doesn't know that Tim is a convicted felon. Maybe he doesn't know that Tim has a screw loose. Maybe he doesn't know that Tim has anger issues. Yes. Maybe he's not aware of the fact that Tim is prone to acting out if he doesn't get his way. Okay, so right after he gets done stomping his feet, then he's prone to acting out. Maybe the salesman doesn't know that. It was nice to see that they selected a safe, where they were picking out safes or asking about safes in order that the gun could be safely maintained or safely stored around that sardine can of a mobile home of a single wide. Considering how small that space is, everyone within the space, and I'm not talking about the adults, all of the children within that small crowded space will happen upon that rifle at some point. Unfortunately, that also includes little Benjamin. Okay, but we'll have to see how it plays out and whether or not this rifle is actually in Tim's name. I'm not sure how the penal codes go. I'm not sure about the restrictions in Mississippi, but we'll have to see whether it's in his name or whether it's in Megan's name. Now, it was, like I said, it was exciting to see them actually looking at some safes. The only question is, considering that Megan already has a rifle, where are they storing that rifle? Okay, and so now if they're just now picking out a safe, is the rifle that they already possess, is it stored underneath the bed? Is it stored in a closet somewhere? Is it stored in the laundry room? Is it tucked away in that homeschool classroom? Out of reach, of course, out of reach of the children, stored away in that crowded, crammed old classroom, that homeschool class, that ineffective classroom. So where is the current rifle being stored? It's really none of our business. Well, okay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to give a very quick reaction. So welcome back to the end game. I'm going to give a real quick reaction to the recent IAG Farms trailer or promo where he talks about his Second Amendment rights being restored to him. So I'm going to give my reaction. I'm going to give my reaction to that video here. All right, early in the video, we see that Tim has forced Megan out in front of the camera. She comes up. Now, remember, these little trailers, okay, these little sneak peeks. Remember, they take on that they have the same structure as those former P2P motivations. Same structure, okay? There's a few minutes of intro, okay? A few minutes of intro, okay? We can look forward to about 8 or 9 minutes of nonsense and mixed in with foolishness, nonsense and foolishness in the middle. And of course, they're going to wrap it up with about 3 minutes of rambling in the form of these supposed sneak peeks. But Megan starts out talking about, well, I'm out here, I'm standing in front of outlaw. And I have on my bad boy t-shirt. And like, okay, Megan, so did Tim force you to wear the t-shirt also? Okay, we know that zero turn was a toy that was selected and purchased for Tim, yes? Certainly, Megan, you may have put it on your credit report, yes? Certainly, you were likely the one that actually financed it, Megan. So we do understand that you have a certain amount of ownership of it, Megan. But we know that Tim is the only one that was excited about that zero turn, Megan. Okay, and so for him to force you out in front of the camera and pretend like you're excited about it, Megan, I'm like, okay, Megan, we'll believe it when we do, aka never.
An outlaw because I had my bad boy mower shirt on and I'm feeling just a little bit like an outlaw renegade.
Megan claims that she's so excited about the outlaw zero turn because they've been throwing out all of the rules around IAG. And I'm like, okay, now the reason why you guys are isolated on that compound that is IAG is because Tim did not want to abide by the rules within the rest of society. Okay, he did not want to abide by the rules at any church congregation. Yes, he didn't want to abide by the rules in Jackson. Yes, and so he isolated you guys. And when he used to have those work teams down working on the farm, he didn't not want to abide by the rules associated with dealing with minors, associated with dealing with volunteers. He didn't want to have to abide by the rules associated with volunteerism. He didn't want to have to abide by those rules and being accountable to volunteers. Yes. He didn't want to have to abide by the rules. He didn't want to have to abide by the rules of supervision when he had people out there on the farm and they were out there working and there were certain hazards. And we know my coach, Tim, he doesn't have any regard for safety, workplace safety, let alone safety of strangers, visitors to the farm. And so what do you mean you've thrown out all the rules? Okay, so Tim has shown, he's demonstrated that he doesn't abide by normal rules. Okay, he's demonstrated that he likes to make up his own rules. Yes. And Megan, you've demonstrated that you like to abide by the rules that my coach has concocted. Okay, the rules that he has drawn from his interpretation of certain verses, only the verses that are favorable for him. Okay, but the rules that he has applied to you and the boys, the rules that he tried to apply to his mama, Grandma Lily, the rules that he tried to apply to his aunts and uncles down at that legacy property. Okay, and so we know he tries to conjure his own rules. And so what do you mean you've thrown out the rules out there at IAG? Okay, the only rules on IAG are Tim's rules. And we do know that they are subject to change from year to year as he's changed the seasons. They're subject to change from month to month. Certainly from week to week, the rules have changed. Okay. And so what do you mean you've thrown out all the rules? Okay. He makes them up as he goes. He makes them up as he goes. I mean, clearly with this new beast mode infatuation, this new beast mode fixation / obsession on this beast mode, and him trying to defend him declaring himself to be a beast, him trying to defend his wife being excited, supposedly excited about him being a beast. Not so much a man of God, but a beast. Okay, clearly he's creating his own rules. Okay, Megan, but tell us more, Megan. Tell us more.
Because we have literally been throwing out all the rules around here and we have ripped apart our home. Yes, we have literally just
Tim. Well, we do know that Megan sounds an awful lot like Tim these days, yes? And so Megan and Tim are starting to be interchangeable. Okay, but I'm going to stick with Megan. I'm going to stick with her given name. At least for now, I'm going to stick with her given name, the name that was given to her by her parents, by her family. I'm going to stick with calling her Megan for the time being. For the time being, okay? Okay, but I'm losing the grip. I'm losing the grip on Megan being an individual, being a separate person, having a separate personality. I'm losing my grip on that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I watch the videos just like the rest of you guys. But anyway, Megan she talks about Tim going down to, I guess, Louisiana to purchase this patio door. And Megan talks about, well, she's so looking forward to having that patio door attached to the house and being able to walk out onto this big porch. And I'm like, okay, Megan. Now, Megan, bear in mind, it's going to take, I don't know, maybe 3 months for Tim to finish the siding. Okay. That's like a cushy estimate. It's going to take him about 3 months to finish the siding. Okay. And that includes the windows. And I guess there's a new door, what have you. So that's about 3 months. By his own admission, it's going to take at least 6 months for him to complete the porch. At least 6 months for him to complete that porch. Okay, Megan. So when you talk about being excited, Megan, we're talking about something that's 9 months, at least 9 months into the future, Megan. Okay. And between now and then, Megan, certainly we can expect for your husband, my coach, y'all's pastor, to change his mind, to change the season. We can expect it. We can look forward to it. Okay. But you getting excited about something that's 9 months. It's got about 9 months before you'll be able to step out onto that porch from that patio door. At this point, Megan, it's a stretch. It's a full stretch, but we understand that you guys have this ultra dry content and you're trying to fluff it up however you can. You're trying to fluff it up, build up some sort of excitement. Of course, we have all noticed that you guys are using music more and more, okay? Because the content does not support itself. It's empty content, aka empty calories. And so we have noticed that more and more you're putting this little music, this jovial music, this bubbly music behind it in order to try to prop it up, Megan. Okay. And I guess some of your Ready Tim writers, I guess they watch it and they're like, oh, hey, look at that. Look at this. Look at the hey. Yes. But for the rest of us, we're watching the content purely. We're trying to block out the music. And as such, it's empty. It's dry. It's void. Okay, your content is void of true content at this point, Megan. But tell us more.
are ripping it apart, and we got to do that though to make it better. So Tim has been talking about, it's going to be a war zone before it gets better. So war zone, construction zone, it's been going down, popping off, and super high intensity around here, just in the stuff that we've been doing. Tim went to all the way to Louisiana.
All right, and so Tim. All right, I'm trying to call her Megan. I'm trying, but all I hear is Tim. Okay, when she's speaking. Okay, if I close my eyes, I'm hearing Tim. Okay. She talks about this fully completed barn. Fully completed barn. Okay. Now, at least the other day, Tim corrected himself. He said that the painting was completed. But of course, for the YouTube world and for his heavy donors, for his steady supporters, of course, he has to imply that the barn is fully completed. Okay, even though he's implied that there's small projects that he'll have to carry out or finish up over the years or over the months or what have you. But he's tried to paint this image that the barn is completed. Okay, we already know it's not a barn, and we definitely know it's not complete. But Megan talks about how the HEMA, their mobile home, is going to have to compete with the barn in earnest. Okay, and so I'm like, what kind of backwards thinking? What kind of backwards thinking is it that your house has to compete with a shed? What kind of backwards thinking was there such that your shed looks better than your house? Your house has been neglected. At least Tim has been working on that barn for two years, 2.5 years. So at least he's been working on that barn little by little over the past couple of years. Okay, but for the past couple of years, the exterior of HEMA has gone neglected. Okay, we do know that Tim tried to convince you to look the other way on your own home. Yes, try to ignore the defects. Try to ignore the fact that it was outdated. Okay, ignore the crustiness. Ignore the fact that one end of the house is all mold and mildewed. Yes, it's moldy and it's mildewed, and it has algae or some other type of living organism that's been growing up the side of it. And for months upon months, I guess years now, Tim has been saying, well, it just needs to be pressure washed. And I'm like, okay, well, why have you not pressure washed it then? If it merely needs to be pressure washed, but you never pressure wash it, then it's a problem. Okay. All right. And we already know the backside of that mobile home, the backside of that sardine can of a single wide looks worse than the front. Okay, because okay, at least the front is a constant reminder of the fact that it looks horrible. Yes, it's a constant reminder of it being outdated. It's a constant reminder of neglect and focus on other things. Accumulation of equipment and other material assets. Accumulation, thousands and thousands of dollars of equipment, whereas the exterior of that house has gone neglected. Okay, and so when we see the backside, it's a further reminder for us of where Tim's priorities have been, and of late, Megan, what we used to consider to be just Tim's, or only Tim's priority, only Tim's focus. Of late, Megan, we're seeing that apparently with your full buy-in at this point, it's also been your focus. Okay, Megan? But you talk about your mobile home competing with a shed. What kind of?
Sienna, just to get a specially made patio door for our just the exterior remodel of Emma, and it's gonna be so amazing when we walk out that door onto the porch. It's just, yeah, I was just happy with replacing the siding instead of painting it and doing that upgrade. But y'all, this is going to be monumental. We're going to replace like everything, windows, door, and it is going to be better than ever.
All right, Megan talks about Tim being on a 3-day journey, I guess to restore his Second Amendment rights. I guess he takes us in with him while he's talking to the gentleman about the sight, or the scope for the rifle and the safe that I guess he picked out. And generally those safes are pretty heavy. And so he's saying, well, as long as you guys can get it into the excursion, then I should be able to get it out. Okay, now generally those safes are not one man carrying those safes, and moving those safes are not one man jobs. And so we can only assume that when he says I should be able to get it out, he means that him and Megan and maybe a little bit of the boys sprinkled in there. I should be able to get it out. Okay, and that's him and Megan, as in hernia afflicted Megan, as in hernia recovering Megan. We haven't forgotten about the hernia, yes? Okay, from time to time, I've had to talk myself out of the fact that Megan is pregnant. Okay, I've had to talk myself out of it. Okay, because I'm looking at her belly and it doesn't look much different than it did previously. Okay, except for the fact that previously she was wearing a hernia belt in order to try to hide it. Maybe now she's not wearing the hernia belt anymore, and so her belly is just extended from natural bearing of children, from natural pregnancy. So maybe that's the case now, and that's why she looks pregnant. Okay, but visually I don't see much difference, and we haven't forgotten about it, Tim. We haven't forgotten about her recovery. Yes. Okay, I don't know if we've exceeded that was it 6 week span. I don't know if we've exceeded that by now. I can't tell because these videos are so far out of order. I can't tell, but you claim that, okay, if they can get it into the excursion, you can get it out. Okay. I doubt that. I doubt it that you're going to get it out by yourself. Okay. So Megan, get your sleeves rolled up. And then who's going to push it up the stairs of the mobile home? And then who's going to push it through the living / dining / kitchen? Who's going to push it or carry it through that area? Okay. Who's going to jostle or wrestle around with it as you get it positioned in your bedroom? Okay. And oh, by the way, your bedroom is a sardine can within the sardine can of a single wide. Okay. So where are you going to fit this without blocking a walkway? Okay. Walkway within your bedroom or in the hallway somewhere or in the laundry room. Where in the world is this safe going to go? Okay. The mobile home is already jammed with obstructions. It's already jammed with mess. We do understand that you guys have a propensity for hoarding. Okay. And we do know that's how HEMA got its name, as in you guys hoarding even more material assets. Okay, and so we see this safe as being yet another item that's going to clutter the space. That is that raggedy old single wide, that raggedy old sardine can of a mobile home. Okay, but we'll just have to wait and see, Coach. We'll just have to wait and see.
It's back here, our fully completed barn, some competition. But y'all, I'm super excited with the projects that we have going on. And just, like it is fully happening and we are fully in beast mode. And Tim.
So Megan, in her effort to stretch out this supposed trailer, stretch it out, I guess Coach said, hey, I need 12 to 15 minutes worth of nonsense, Megan, in this trailer. I need 12 to 15 minutes. Okay. And so in her effort to stretch out the content, she talks about the fact that Benjamin is potty training. We already knew that, but she reminds us that Benjamin is potty training. Only thing this time is that they show a photo of Benjamin sitting on the toilet. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Even little Benjamin, is no one spared from snitching? Is no one spared from YouTube embarrassment? Why is it always other folks that are caught in these compromising positions? Okay, why was it Grandma Lily that was caught out there in her nightgown, in her bathrobe, out there at that rabbit hutch or chicken coop out there at the Woodlands property? Why was Grandma Lily caught in a compromising position? Why has Megan been caught multiple times with her glasses on, her unsightly glasses that she certainly does not want to be filmed in on YouTube? Why has Megan been caught with her hair in disarray? Okay, with crust in her eyes. Why has Megan been caught like that? Okay, so why is it that other folks are always caught? Okay, and whereas my coach, he always tries to present his best. He chooses not to cut his beard. He chooses not to groom himself. He chooses to have the nappy beadwork on top of his head. Those things are by his choice, yes? He selected these glasses that he thought were stylish, that he thought would accentuate his appearance. Okay. All right. At some point, somebody has to tell him that he looks goofy in these glasses. Yes. At some point, somebody needs to tell him to go back to the optician, choose out another set of frames that actually works better with your face, actually works better with the shape of your head, including the beard. Okay. Or go back to the contacts. Okay. So we know that with narcissists, they think the most of themselves, Coach. Okay, but if you would just take a little bit of feedback from some of your heavy Tim followers, they would tell you that the glasses are a thumbs down, coach. Okay, but Megan shows the photo, or I'm sorry, my coach. We know my coach is the master editor. So he chose to put in, although Megan was just talking about it. Okay, although she was just referring to the fact that Benjamin was potty training, my coach, he saw fit to actually insert photo coverage of little Benjamin on the potty. And he thought that, well, if he blurred out the shot, then that would add a little bit of cleanliness. Okay, that would add a little bit of censorship to the photo. No, it's still embarrassing. Yes, it's still embarrassing. Totally unnecessary, coach. It adds nothing to the story, coach. But it's what you do, coach. It's what you do.
Also been on a special journey to restore his Second Amendment rights to bear arms.
Here it is right here. And it's this one, and that one. And we think we're gonna be able to fit this one in the excursion. It's pretty heavy. And I told her as long as we can get it in there without tearing something up, I better get it out once we get it home. So it should be tall enough to handle everything we need to handle. And I like the little covers on the side and everything. It's just a good, solid, durable thing. So
he went on a 3-day journey to now have that back and be able to take care of things that, pop off and happen on our property. Like we had the alligator. Yeah, we've had alligators even in the pond before, coyotes on the property. So we just want to be prepared for situations like that. So it's actually really special, really beautiful what the Lord did. So now that we can be prepared for things like that happen on the farm. And y'all, if that's not
Megan, once again, her efforts to stretch out this content and her efforts to ramble for that 10 to 12 minutes that Tim required of her, that 10 to 12 minutes. Good gracious. So Megan talks about, well, once they complete this, they will have fully remodeled Emma. And she talks about fully remodeling the exterior of Emma. I'm not sure if putting up siding is considered to be remodeling. It's an aesthetic improvement, but I'm not sure if I would call it remodeling. Adding in the windows doesn't really qualify as remodeling. It's an upgrade. So there's a difference between upgrading and remodeling. Yes. For instance, let's say Tim at some point, he's decided to upgrade from that raggedy old Excursion. Yes. And get another truck. Okay. You would not say that Tim remodeled the truck. Okay. So there's a difference. Yes. Okay. And so let's say at some point you guys decide to upgrade your homeschooling and you actually bring in qualified tutors. Okay, or you bring in some special education services sporadically. And so you upgrade the quality of the education that the boys are receiving. You would never say that you remodeled the quality of the education that the boys are receiving. Okay, so there's a big difference. Okay, yes. But you talk about being in this season of doing things more abundantly. At first you say that the 10 was fine. Even though we know, based upon the video archives, that you've been commenting about the exterior of Emma for a while. Okay, and for a long while, Tim kind of pushed you off to the side and said, no, let's focus on getting the barn to be beautiful. Let's focus on first things first, Megan. Okay, so you said, well, the 10 was fine, when clearly it's raggedy. Yes. And then you say, well, painting the 10 was fine also. I'm like, okay, that's lipstick on a pig. Yes, lipstick on a pig. It'll still be raggedy and outdated. Okay. But then you talk, well, but we're going to demonstrate abundance. So rather than keeping the 10 as it was, keeping it as the eyesore that it was, or the eyesore that it is, and rather than putting paint on it and trying to beautify the eyesore that it is, okay, we're actually going to put siding on it. Okay. And that will allow us to be more abundant. Okay, Megan. Okay.
Enough. Benjamin has been potty training. So I literally have just come back from wiping pee off the floor, y'all. He's been doing a great job of going in the potty, becoming accustomed to the potty, but he got a little bit excited and he peed in the potty and he popped up from the potty and the potty popped off with him. So that has been fun too. So it's just a lot that we have been.
Megan doubles down on throwing out the rules. I guess with the work that they're doing on Emma, somehow they're throwing out the rules. And I'm like, which rules are we talking about? Are we talking about the rules within the Bible? Are we talking about the rules? Are we talking about the commandments? Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's property. Which rules are you guys admitting to throwing out? Which rules is it? But now she talks about how Tim said, do not show Emma/Hema when you're doing this nonsense of a trailer, when you're out there babbling and rambling, trying to fill up that dozen minutes or 10 minutes with nonsense and foolishness.
Been happy to experience. Like I said, we're just throwing away all the rules. Benjamin is now becoming, a young toddler. And so he's going into the next season. And that's what it feels like really for all of us. We are now with this exterior remodel of Emma, just now coming to the point where we will fully have redone every single thing on Emma. Talk about establishing more and more abundantly. It's like the 10 was fine. Painting the 10 would have been fine. But no, we are establishing even more abundantly.
When you're out there babbling, absolutely do not show Emma. Okay, because if you show Emma, you're going to interfere with these 5-6 weeks worth of content that my viewers / heavy Tim followers can look forward to. 5 or 6 weeks worth of content, Megan, if you show Emma. And so instead, she shows us the other thing that they are proud of around. Okay, so we know we have the trash heap that is Emma. And the other thing that they're proud of around that farm is the arrival of the dumpster. Who gets excited about the arrival of a dumpster? Except for a wife that has acknowledged the fact that their entire farm is a bona fide dump site. Okay, and so let alone pulling siding off of Hema, but Megan is also in consideration of the various trash piles that litter the property. Okay, and so I'm guessing she looks more forward to actually that stuff going into the dumpster versus the tin going into the dumpster. Yes. Okay, certainly that tin can be recycled. Okay, certainly there's certain value in that tin. But as far as the other trash heaps and trash piles around that farm, I'm certain that Megan is looking forward to getting full use out of that dumpster. Okay, bear in mind, they'll probably have to make about 3 or 4 trips. Okay, in order to haul off all of the trash around that farm. Yes? Okay, but Megan gets excited about that dumpster. And so we know we have some dumpster footage coming. Yes? I'm thinking about 3 videos worth of content on the dumpsters. Okay, so it's because bear in mind, first of all, Tim has to select a dumpster supplier or dumpster provider. Yes, he has to negotiate. He has to negotiate with the dumpster folks. Okay, try to convince them that he's famous. Try to convince them that he has this highly popular YouTube channel, and that they can get some type of benefit by giving him a discount on the dumpster. And of course, he has to have them deliver the dumpster. Okay, and of course, while they're delivering it, Tim has to get out there with his camera and get up in the guy's face and breathe on the guy's back and watch him offload it and ask him some goofy questions, some pre-rehearsed questions. They actually have to drop the dumpster. Tim has to introduce us to the dumpster. He has to tell us about his future plans for the dumpster. So I'm guessing 3 to 4 videos about the dumpster. And so, of course, Gideon is seeing that the dumpster is going to get more attention than he does. Okay, seeing that dumpster is going to get more attention than Solo got before Solo was shunned Solo was exiled out to the Woodlands property out there at Grandma Lily's property. Okay, so Gideon's saying that the dumpster is going to get more attention than he does. Of course, Gideon lifts his leg and he shows Tim what he thinks about it. Yes, and so he pees. He pees on that dumpster in order to mark his territory. Yes, it's not that Gideon is jealous of the dumpster. He's just marking his territory, right? Right? Well, all right. I can't take any more of this. I can't take it. I promise you guys. I can't take no more.
And that's a beautiful thing to be a part of the process and to, just throw out those rules and continue to grind hard. And yes, it's good, but hey, give me more and more abundance. And that's what we've been doing. It's been super fun to do it as a family, y'all, and to bring y'all along too, because y'all are IAG family. So I just hope that you enjoy this sneak peek. Listen, my husband, he's like, no, don't show him Emma, don't show him. So I don't know, should I show you? No, I shouldn't show you because he said don't show you. But look, okay, I know what I'm gonna do. Let's see if I can show y'all. Y'all see that back there? There is a 20-yard dumpster. Make it right. Get in now. All right, thank you so much. That we have prepared for the projects that we're doing.
That's it. That's it for my reaction to that recent trailer where Tim talks about his Second Amendment rights that he abused, okay, that he squandered, that he wasted. But he talks about finally getting his Second Amendment rights returned to him. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Chop it up in the comments. New heavies, especially you guys that are excited about Tim having a rifle out there at the farm. Especially you guys, get up in the comments. Explain to me why you guys are excited about that. Okay? Go ahead, get up in the comments. You can get up in there now. You don't have to wait. In the meantime, I want to shoot out some love to my current subscribers. Thank you for showing me that love. For those viewers that have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing so that we can continue to shine that light. Until next time.